Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we wait on that sweet, sweet Saudi money to finally up our budget.
Oh yeah. Oh, will be nothing but good for the gaming industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously, last episode had some issues, we had horrible budget cuts, but as soon as that Saudi Arabian money and that Xbox Game Pass stuff comes in, like, we're just going to be rolling in dough, guys.
Oh hell
We'll be
yeah.
sitting pretty.
We'll finally be getting paid.
Yeah. So how have you guys been? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Same.
I bet, huh?
About where I'm at. I was saying in the pre-show that I've been traveling a lot the last 2 weeks, which I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. Some of the best trips of my life. I got to see my favorite band that broke up 20 years ago, and it was so good. I went 3 times in 3 days, and it was so good. But I'm so tired, and I have no idea what time it is. I don't know where I am, but we're doing our best right now. So
You're in the void.
Yep.
I am.
You're in Silent Hill.
It's funny. There was a brief moment we were all in the same time zone, and I think as a result, we just kind of broke reality.
100%.
That's not allowed to happen ever again.
Yeah,
It was very uncomfortable for all of us. So.
It happened in the 2010s, back when we were all at Denver Comic Con, and like the universe decided, like, you get this one.
No, literally, the last time all 3 of us were in the same location was 2015, the last good year any of us have ever experienced.
Yeah, good is a stretch, but it definitely it has literally been nothing but downhill from here. We kind of peaked in 2015.
Yeah. Us being in the same time zone is the reason Harambe died. Bernie didn't get the election.
We're so sorry, but we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Sad thing is, we all collectively agreed they shouldn't have shot Harambe, and Bernie Sanders probably should have been the Democratic nominee.
I was thinking, I saw a TikTok earlier this week that was like 2 people, one from today talking to 2015, 10 year ago him. And it was specifically about school shootings and how we've become desensitized to it. But I was like, man, if I had to talk to 2015 Seth, I don't know how I could explain to him how important it is that he needs to keep a gorilla alive. Like, you want to stop all of this from happening. There's this gorilla.
Here's the thing. You need to call... It was the Cincinnati Zoo?
That's the other problem. I don't remember.
Yeah.
There's a gorilla somewhere in America.
You have to
save them all.
Yeah, you have to call like whatever like National Zoo like association or whoever's in charge of all of them is just like, you're not allowed to have children in the parks on this day.
Yeah.
Ban children, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, maybe stop keeping animals in captivity for the purposes of just showing them off to public.
Zoos are a great thing if they're used properly, so I will fight you on that.
She almost fought me on it once before when I made a slight joke about a zoo.
I know Seth was like, she's coming any second.
I don't need that heat. I don't need that smoke.
I'm just taking my earrings off really quick. So.
Yeah, popping off the acrylics.
This will be real quick.
Yeah.
Brie, your stuff is overmodulating again just a little bit. I don't know how... Is it coming off that mic?
It's so funny you say that because I thought that last time the mic on here doesn't work. It never has. So it's the only mic that's available.
So you sound
My
fine.
camera does not have a mic.
You sound fine, but I think it's when you start kind of going up in registers where it
you're like peaking.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That's why I like just turning it down just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. No emoting, Brie.
No
emoting.
You're not allowed to be excited about anything.
What a good film. I enjoyed it so much. I'm very passionate about it. Does that work? Is that good?
Yeah. It's great.
She did the homework because she called it a film and not a miniseries.
Yeah. I thought it was a film until this morning. So.
Oh.
Anyways, speaking of our homework assignment, we watched Over the Garden Wall, which was a miniseries that premiered on Cartoon Network about what I actually don't know how old the show is, but
I think it was like 2013, 2014. It's old.
I think that's right.
It's in that era of Cartoon Network that just I completely missed, and we'll talk a little bit about that like as we go on. But anyways, this was Seth's homework, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Seth take it away.
I adore this series. I watch it every October. It's one of my favorites. I sought out a physical copy the minute they took it off HBO Max before throwing it back on, and I wasted $7. So good. But I really want to know what both of you think about it.
Yeah, so this was my first time watching it. I've heard a lot about it from a lot of different people. That like it seems like almost anybody in any like friend circle that I am in, there's at least one person who is obsessed with this miniseries, and like Seth, like watches it every like autumn, especially heading toward October because it is Halloween, October, fall themed. I didn't really know much about it going in. I've only ever seen like bits and pieces and people talk about it. But like I said, I wasn't really watching Cartoon Network in this era. So like I wasn't watching Adventure Time. I wasn't watching a lot of the other stuff. I don't know exactly who show run this, but this was kind of the era where like a lot of people who were graduates of Cal Art started working at Cartoon Network, which is why a lot of shows on Cartoon Network have like a very similar style. And they had a similar style like before, but like you could see there was a definite shift because like the stuff when you think, because I grew up in the Dexter's Lab, Kids Next Door, Courage the Cowardly Dog, that era. So this was part of the era that followed it. So, but regardless, I thought this was great. So I actually watched it with my Pathfinder group, actually. We were at Ren Fair the day before, and at Ren Fair we all just kind of organized. Basically, it's like, oh, we're all going to go over to Chris's place and watch Over the Garden Wall.
Nice.
And so that's what we did. So I had a group viewing of it with a bunch of people who had seen it before, so there was like color commentary and everything, so not like a pure first time watching experience really, but at the same time it made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet watching it with a group.
And that's all I'll say for now, but there's a lot of stuff that we're definitely going to get into. Brie, what did you think?
So I was honestly so very similar. Like I feel like I had heard a lot of people talk about it. A lot of the like YouTubers I watch reference it a ton, especially around this time of year. And hilariously, one of the channels I follow very regularly just posted a 2-hour detailed diatribe about Over the Garden Wall. So I was like, okay, well, clearly this is really good timing. I'll be very honest that when I was getting towards, I watched it pretty much in one scene because it's 10 episodes, about 11 minutes each. So I was like, oh, perfect, very digestible. I watched most of it after came back and watched the rest of it. And I feel like as I was approaching the final episode, I was like, oh no, I'm not liking this. And I was like really concerned because I was like, why is everyone obsessed with this? I'm a little concerned because my biggest thing is that because I genuinely, and I know this is the point, I genuinely find Greg so annoying that like I was actually annoyed watching it.
How dare you? I love Greg.
Hold on. He is annoying, but he's purposely annoying. I get that, but like I genuinely was like, oh my god, this fucking kid. I get the feeling here. However, once it gets to the final episode, especially, well, like the approach of like episode 9 into 10 and then all of 10, I was like, you know what? Actually, that was a very satisfying ending. And I feel like now that I've consumed a little more media discussing it, it's made me appreciate it way more. And I think this is one that I'm going to appreciate way, way more on a second or third viewing because I think I can appreciate a little bit more of the buildup and what it was going towards. I'll mention this kind of briefly later, but the video I watched today, the detailed diatribe talks about how this is Dante's Inferno. So it's not a one for one, but it is pretty much they're visiting all the circles of hell. There's again, it's not a one-to-one, but it's very heavily inspired by it. Even with like there's an angel in that story called Beatrice. I was like, oh, okay, so they really, again, not perfect, but it wasn't intended to be. But I think I'm going to appreciate this on a second viewing. I wish I had time for a second viewing, but as I mentioned, I've been traveling a ton, so not a possibility. So it was kind of like, okay, to like starting to be bad, liked it, and then I definitely appreciate it, and I know I'm going to appreciate it more. So that's where I'm at right now.
So going back to you hating Greg, the funny, so yeah, I understand how
whimsy.
I understand.
No, it's annoying. That's not whimsical. That's just annoying. It's an annoying little kid.
Why do you hate neurodivergent people?
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. I am a neurodivergent person. That is not neurodivergence. That is annoying kid trying to get attention. That is deeply annoying. So
you didn't like the constant names of the frogs. You didn't like the rock facts. You didn't.
No, I hated that. I was like, I thought it was like kind of funny at first, I guess, but like it kept happening and he kept actively endangering them. And I never like kid sidekicks or like annoying sidekicks.
That's fair.
It is a trope, and the second I identify it, I'm already like, oh, okay. But he was genuinely very annoying to me. So, but after he makes his like, sacrifice, I feel like I'm like, okay, he's a sweet kid. He's just so fucking annoying, and kids are annoying. So I think that's accurate. Again, it's intentional. I get that.
Yeah. So it's funny enough because mentioning how I was watching this with my Pathfinder group. In my Pathfinder campaign, one of our player characters plays a cactus fleshy ranger, and to say that her character in the campaign that we're doing is Greg coded is like an understatement. Like they're practically one for one the same character. She's basically our campaign's chaos goblin, and down to like collecting rocks, being obsessed with animals, being relatively annoying. Like literally we were like looking at her the entire watch through, just kind of like going, it's just like, oh god, it's you. So that helped me paint it really, really well. But like I could see why like you had that opinion, but it was just really funny watching it with a group where somebody there like, because it was also the person in question who has this character in the campaign also was one of the two people besides myself who had never seen it before. So she didn't base the character off of Greg. It was just naturally like how she made her character.
Just naturally annoying. That's great. Very authentic.
Well, even the campaign, we always like just figure out different kinds of jokes to do. Like so, like my character, who's the other ranger in our campaign, I'm always just like, anytime we come around a shopkeep or like a trader or something, I'm always just like, "Are you interested in buying a cactus?" Just to kind of get rid of her. And then also at one point in our campaign, we fought a group of goblins, and one of the goblins had like a blunderbuss gun. And so after we defeated the goblins, we were all so we're giving the gun to the cactus, right?
Obviously, you have to.
But yeah, everything down to collecting rocks, painting rocks, and all that stuff. So that made it funnier, but that is a very specific context of which I was watching this in.
That's fair. And honestly, I used to have one of those in my old campaign, and she's no longer part of the campaign, and the campaign has never run smoother. So just
I just want to say for the record, I love you, Rachel. Can't wait to see you on the next session.
Yeah, I don't know. Like going back to the show, I came to it a couple years later. My girlfriend at the time and I were making dinner, and she was like, "Do you just want to throw something on? Just put," and it was in recommended, and I was like, "Yeah, it seems Halloweeny." It was about autumn. Threw it on, and her and I just became so enthralled with the show that we watched it in one sitting. Burnt the shit out of dinner. We were just into it. And so that's when it became like a thing, and I became obsessed with it. But yeah, also I wasn't a big on Cartoon Network at that time. I've never really watched Adventure Time. I've never really watched Gumball. I've seen clips, but this was a very unique time for Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like Wart. I almost called him Mort. I didn't like Wart on this viewing. Yeah. Because I knew where it was going, and I'm like, you blame Greg for everything, but you're the reason they're there.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
But I understand the annoying kid brother thing also. Like, I think if you have younger siblings, like that's a natural dynamic. So I'm empathetic. Like, he's a teenager that's bothered everything. I can be empathetic.
And they're also like being played as like really opposites, because Greg is like, whimsy, childlike, willing to be more adventurous. Ward is anxious and scared and basically
wants to be a serious poet and that forlorn soul. I will say I had forgotten that they were stepbrothers and
half
not
brothers. Yeah.
No, they're not half brothers.
Are they not?
Are they half?
I thought they had the same mom.
I thought they were.
Because he kept specifically talking about his dad, so he's just like, your dad did this. So you might be right. I'm not sure.
Maybe. But once I remembered that, I was like, oh, because I started softening on Wart specifically because I was like, oh, this is a brother that he never even really wanted and who
Yes.
was brought into the picture. That adds to a lot of his annoyance there. And
Yeah.
so that made me go a
100%.
little softer.
As somebody who grew up with annoying stepbrothers, trust me, I get it.
Yeah. Uh, were we all going to take a drink at the same time?
You both went to drink at the same time. I was about to, and then I stopped. I should have committed.
I'm so dehydrated. I'm going to be drinking the whole time. So it's like 90 degrees here in October. So
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
It's
it's still like
fucked.
80 out here. Like normally it's supposed to be like starting to creep down into like the low 70s by now, and it's just not.
global warming. And who is she? We don't know her.
Yeah, we have no clue. I will say the thing that I love most about this show is just how fucking adorable it is.
Oh
How
yeah.
cute everything is. The animation style, love it.
Mm.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the show was, and it really was a core theme throughout, is that it was constantly subverting whatever the expectation, especially of Wart. Wart's
Mm-hmm.
basically, makes a lot of assumptions about a lot of people throughout, like from the jump. Like in the first episode, he's just like going straight for it, and like every step of the way, like everybody they interact with, like there's a caricature, there's a stereotype, there's something along the lines. I was like, this is how like you would think that this would go, but it
Mm-hmm.
goes completely different direction. And it made me think about how we watched the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, and how Last Jedi really like set out to try and subvert people's expectations, but did so in a varying degree of success. Some people would argue completely failing at doing so. This
Yeah.
one does it a lot better, obviously.
In a
That
lot of
might,
subtle ways too.
and
Yeah.
part of that might also just be like this thing doesn't have the weight of like having a huge franchise like
Mm-hmm.
to be holding up, and so therefore it doesn't have to necessarily do that. But I just kind of liked how like every kind of step of the way was like literally about being like what you think is happening isn't inherently what's happening.
Including the time period, because I was a little confused, and which obviously
Oh yeah.
intentionally, because it took me such a long time. Because I was like, okay, they're kind of talking in a very modern way, but also not. But
Yeah.
also that might be a stylistic choice. But also they have kind of weird clothes on, so what is going on there? But everything else seems to be kind of like olden times, like Massachusetts vibes. So it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
where are they? When are they? And you don't really get that until very, very late in the show, where you're like, he mentioned something about being in high school. I was like, oh, high school. Wait, hold on. Where are
Yeah.
they right now? So and they do that in a lot of different ways. One of the ones that I appreciated again after viewing was the 2 pennies to get basically to get on the ferry. I was like, oh yeah, 2 pennies to cover the eyes to pay the ferryman. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's
Yeah.
so fucking clever.
So, Brie, you said something interesting about the ending being satisfying. And there's actually like an actual line in the show. It's just like a satisfying ending that nobody had a problem with,
Yeah. I like
which was
that line a
clearly
lot.
the studio being like, here's the thing that the powers that be told us to do,
Mm.
not necessarily what we wanted to do.
Everything got wrapped up in a nice little bow. The dead daughter is not dead. Beatrice and her family aren't birds anymore.
Mm.
Um, I have a theory because I actually do have an issue with the second half right around the time, Brie, where you were saying you weren't liking it.
Mm.
I think this was supposed to be multiple seasons, and they found
Yeah.
out during production that
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be, and they had to just rush through everything else they had planned for the series in the last 5 episodes. And that's always been an issue I have with it.
It's interesting you say that because I one of the things I was just watching, I think episode 7 was actually originally intended as the pilot, and that's why it's thematically a little different. And I'm just like, oh, so they really had to like build it somewhere and then kind of build backwards and then forwards again. I think it's episode 7. It's the one where it's this oh my God, it's the girl that's controlled by the bell, and it turns out that she's the
Ah,
monster the whole time. So again, subverting those expectations. That was the pilot. That was supposed to be the pilot. So
hmm.
when the video I was watching, they were going through like the circles of hell. That is the one that's the most inconsistent and really doesn't thematically fit with that because it wasn't originally intended to be later in the show. It's supposed to be the first episode. So I could kind of see where they maybe lost a little of the pacing there because they had to reconstruct this in a lot of different ways. But they were also, again, I only know very briefly about this, but like they don't really understand how this got greenlit because it is so dark. But it just they kind of once they kind of ran with it and just did what they could.
Yeah, there might have been some holdovers from that previous Cartoon Network era that like I had mentioned, where like because like a lot of Cartoon Network stuff used to be a lot darker. Like CC Courage the Cowardly Dog, and there's a lot of other stuff that was like
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans, Samurai Jack, things that were a little bit more dark ready. This one has more whimsy than those ones, and like little less, grimdark. Like there is some levity to this, obviously, in comparison to a lot of stuff. But yeah, when you're making a show that is more or less about mortality,
yeah,
and the fragility of life, it is kind of thing. Like you don't necessarily catch on that that's what's happening at the beginning, but like you start picking up those cues.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't clock the Dante's Inferno thing. My interpretation, especially by the time I watched the whole entire thing, is just like, so was this an entire allegory for purgatory? For the most part, like not hell, but like I clocked it as like purgatory. Like they're not dead, but they're not alive because of how obviously it ends. I always kind of associate like I always kind of associated it more being like an allegory for purgatory because like everybody they interact with, is again going back to that whole thing about subverting expectation and like what people think is going on. Once they resolve these things, it's just like, oh, you actually live in a house of somebody else and now you are together now. It's just like, okay, you have your unfinished business, quote unquote, for like when spirits wander the world. Like that's kind of like what I kind of associated with it. So that's what I interpreted it for. And then of course the ending going back to like, and an ending that everybody is satisfied with. It's just like, me and Emily had the conversation after we drove back. It was just like, so do you think those kids are dead?
Yeah. I mean, there is evidence that like they either drowned or got hit by that train.
Yeah.
And everything post that.
And like I said, I think they're alive, but I assume like everything that they experienced again was like the purgatory, and so they just happened to survive before they actually passed, or at least got revived. They might have been dead before being resuscitated.
For me, I've been playing a lot of Silent Hill F. So for me, I was it's so good. But I was drawing parallels to like, oh, this is like happy Silent Hill. Like the characters are learning lessons, but they exist in this liminal space on the edge of both life and death, and it could go either way.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I will say, kind of going back to the length and pace, I really wish more series would adopt this like 10-minute runtime per episode.
Yeah. That was another
reason. Easy to go through, yeah.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of storytelling and not a lot of time, guys. I think it's time we start thinking about how we can shift that a little bit.
Drew Gooden put up a video about the Paper, the Office spinoff. Did you watch it?
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
Okay. But he makes a point that he really wishes that like streaming shows would hold themselves to a specific time limit and not be like, well, we got 40 minutes, so let's just do the full 40 and
That's
really cut out stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and it's
that kind of started when Netflix series were like first coming, like starting to like come up, and like they were trying to like head for like, Academy Award nominations and stuff like that, because they very specifically, like, I think Arrested Development got criticized. It's just like they're trying to reinvent the mold by like, it's like, oh, we're on streaming, we don't have to worry about like the whole commercial style pacing and fitting everything into the specific time slot. We can kind of just do whatever, and we can do things out of order, and we can do all this other stuff. And it's just like, I think you need to. I'm not saying we need to go back to that, because I don't necessarily think that's the right way to go. But I do think this idea that, especially for longer form content, I think we've gone a little bit too far in the other direction about how long form content needs to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
because like at a certain point, which honestly like is gonna seem unrelated, but it is related. I like when I choreograph, it's something I have to explain to my new instructors all the time. I'm like, just because a song is 4 minutes long doesn't mean you should do 4 minutes of choreo, because at some point you're gonna run out of ideas, and then you're just filling time, just adding fluff, and it's just exhausting. And I feel like shows feel very much the same way. Just because you have the time doesn't mean you need to fill it with just then you just it's just fluff at that point. And that's something that Drew Gooden mentioned in his video, that like, yeah, some of the jokes definitely could have been cut because they were probably like the lower tier jokes, but they had the time to put them in. So they put those jokes in. So like, okay, now this isn't as quick and clean of a show as it could be, just because they want that longer runtime. It's not worth it. And yeah, honestly, I was so grateful because I was like, again, I did not have time to watch this before today. So I was like, oh fuck, I gotta block out some time. And I was like, oh, this is perfect, 11-minute episodes. And I never felt like they were too short or too long. It really told everything very concisely. And then just 10 episodes long, I was like, yeah, I super agree. I'm like, can we do more of this? Because this is a pretty compelling story that takes them in a lot of different places. And was still very interesting and did not take up 60 hours of my life. It was just 2. So just about. I love that.
For the next one, we're going to do the Star Wars animated series where they're 5-minute episodes of each.
That's actually not the worst idea.
That's really good, and I've been wanting to watch it.
Oh, the Tartakovsky Star Wars, Clone Wars? Oh, yeah, no, it's great. I still think they should have kept that canon.
So do I.
And I'm a big proponent of, like, let's decanonize a lot of the stuff.
Same production studio that did Samurai Jack. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah, no, it was so good. So good. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Seth, is there like anything else that you kind of like want to point out?
I'm trying to think. I actually didn't end up taking notes because I was like, oh, I've seen this so many times. I'll remember everything I want to say. Yeah. And now I'm sitting here going, fuck, there was something I was going to say.
Yeah, the problem is I watched it literally like the weekend after we did the last show. And so like, I'm just like, none of it's fresh in my head. And I was going to rewatch it. I just didn't have time.
It's such a tough balance to strike. I realized we said that before. We're just like, I don't know when to watch this content ever, because I'm just like, if I watch it too close, I'm like, I don't know if I have time to like, and then I rush and I don't have
to it. Yeah.
Yes. Or if you watch it, like, I'm like, I'll watch it right away, and I'm like, oh, that was a whole ass week ago. I've watched other things. I don't know what's going on anymore. Oh my god.
One thing I will say that I just remembered, the voice actress for Beatrice played a villain in The Last of Us to connect 2 of our episodes. And my first viewing of The Last of Us, I was like, I can't take this villain seriously. I just keep picturing her as a little blue bird. It's Beatrice. It's the same voice. She doesn't change her voice at all.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of familiar voice actors, obviously, you know. They run like Elijah Wood being Wart and everything else like that. It's just
James Earl Jones as the Beast, Christopher Lloyd as the Woodsman. There's another one in here. John Cleese, which has he been canceled? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I think possibly, actually. I feel like I saw something recently, unfortunately.
Striking from the record.
I can't keep track anymore.
But that was another thing that I was surprised about with the show is like, wow, they got a lot of like high-end people to do this, and they didn't market it that way at all. Which nowadays you get Chris Pratt to play Garfield, and that's the only thing anybody talks about.
Yeah,
100%.
It's like, let's get Chris Pratt to be Garfield, Mario, the Lego dude. It's just like, can we hire anybody else?
Yeah. Although I will say, Lego Dude, I forgive, because that was before he was like ultra famous.
Oh yeah,
and that 100%. Movie is so good. I love that movie.
Everything post Guardians of the Galaxy is just kind of like, okay, we get it.
We get it. You want to be Harrison Ford.
You found God. I understand.
Yeah.
I thought he was always that way, and just like it wasn't obvious until.
You might be right. I'm not sure.
He's part of Hillsong Church. He goes to Hillsong.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the religious trauma section of the show.
Quick aside, Hillsong writes a lot of their own worship music and then licenses it out to a bunch of different churches. As a teenager, I thought Hillsong was a Christian band because so many of the worship songs we would do were by Hillsong. And then I found out, oh no, it's a church. Wow. Okay.
That's so funny. I love that. Something I wanted to mention really quickly, because you mentioned purgatory, that again, if you're following like the circles of hell, I'm referencing the video from Overly Sarcastic Productions, because they actually take it level by level and how the show interpreted each level of hell. And again, it's not one-to-one, it's kind of close, but like the first one, which is episode 2, which is the weird like pumpkin people that seem very, very menacing, and again, very cool, subverting expectations, because you're like, this is, especially, I think it's so funny.
Their own graves. So it's just like, oh no, they were just getting their friends awake so they can join the party.
The fact that you characterize this show as cute, it is not. I don't think much about this is cute at all. I think it's very off-putting.
Adorable.
I think it's very off-putting.
Why do you hate fun?
I love fun. I just like
the band.
The band.
Can I tell you?
I hate fun.
It's very funny. No, it's. So
the band that you went to go see is the we talked about it on the music episode.
Yeah, so I just want to say no, that I want to say more than that, because yes, I know you know that. That was the response I got from every single person. I was like, I had to keep explaining. I was like, I also don't like fun. I don't think they're a good band. It was a very corporate version of what the format was. So I had to have this conversation like 800 times with people. I was like, I'm only giving it to you as a reference point, not because I like that band. That band's very bad.
It's like,
oh my God.
Here's how you just explain it in a very short way. It's like, do you know the band Fun? Now imagine if they were good.
Imagine if they didn't have like a corporate overlord ruining all of their songwriting.
Imagine they had creative freedom still. And they didn't just make songs for radio.
Correct. And actually, a sidebar related to that, they're going to be on Jimmy Fallon next week. And apparently it's somewhat related to an announcement that Taylor Swift is going to make next week as well. And I'm a little concerned that she's either promoting them in some way or potentially going to be an opener for her. And I'm like, I will never get to see them ever again.
You're not going to be able to afford to.
I sure fuck won't. I'm like, don't do that to me. Ooh. I just saw them 3 times, so
one of the podcasts I was listening to was talking about like Taylor Swift shows and how like it's cheaper to fly to Brazil, book hotel stay, pay for everything, transportation, food, everything, and the Taylor Swift tickets than it is to just buy the tickets for like a show in the States.
I don't like any artist that much. I'll be so real with you. Just like there's no artist I would pay that much for. That blows my mind.
I tap out at around $60 for concert tickets, and it has to be a band I really want to see.
I splurged for Green Day, but
Mm-hmm.
like I will say though, I've sung the praises of Bridge City Sinners. They were here a few months ago. Tickets were $80, and I said no, thank you, and I didn't see them.
Yeah, like that's right on the edge of just like, that's a little bit too much. I get it, and like obviously Ticketmaster and all the corporate overlords that like we could have an entire show just talking shit about how horrible Ticketmaster and everything else is and how they've ruined live music.
Ticketmaster, I swear we'll get off this in a second, but I think we had to use Ticketmaster for these shows this week, and what I don't understand how nobody else has this like corner, like this market cornered, because it is the most unusable like app I've ever. I couldn't see my tickets for 2 days because it would not let me log in. And then when my sister logged in, because we bought different tickets, it showed us the wrong tickets, and we were just like, it showed somebody else's tickets completely. We had to like sign out, sign back in multiple times to just get our fucking tickets. And then they're like, oh, make sure you download them before you get to the door. And we physically could not. Ticketmaster would not let us download it to our wallet. And I'm just like, hopefully this works. So I'm just like, I can't believe. And I've never deleted an app so hard in my life. I was like, I want this off my phone because it's just the vibes are terrible.
It's almost as if monopolies are bad things and maybe we should, break them up or something.
Hey, now that sounds like radical speaking. I'm pretty sure that makes you a terrorist, according to a recent executive order.
Cool.
Yes. ICE is on their way.
But Brie, you were saying the Cycles of Hell and the pumpkin episode that you hate, but I think it's adorable.
No. So here's the thing: they also look like scarecrows, and my deep hatred and bees, scarecrows.
We
There's
found
that
it.
part of it, yes. But also, it's interesting because
she only likes Scarecrow if it's a Coolio.
That is the only scarecrow I will accept forever and always, and that will be the right timeline. We all know this. But a lot of interpretation of that particular episode is as like being in limbo, because those people are not having a bad time. But also can't leave. So the way they describe it in Dante's Inferno is that these are people who do not believe in Jesus Christ. So they are not bad people, they did not do bad things, but they did not choose the right religion. So they're still kind of having a chill ass time. They're vibing, but they can't leave. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Well, and yeah, for all even the one that was like the loosest interpretation was the third episode, which was the School Town Follies, which was the lust ring. And I was like, oh, really? That's a little concerning with the school children stuff. But it's the focus is that the teacher cannot do her job correctly, and the school is failing because she is so obsessed with her past romance that she cannot physically do her job well. And that's like the whole focal point. And I was like, oh, okay. So they did like a child-friendly version of lust. It's not that she's it's a sexual kind of lust. It's a over focus on romance.
Yeah.
It's the don't get horny at work problem.
Yeah.
Which is always where you're the horniest, which is absolutely
always.
I don't know where you're working, where anything at work makes you horny, but okay.
Well, I think it's the boredom, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And then somebody texts you something vaguely flirty, and you're like, okay, let me get to the bathroom really quick. Take a quick picture.
It's one of those things, it's just like, are you really horny when you're masturbating, or do you just need to kill time?
It's kill time. That's 90% of what's happening when I masturbate. I need that
absolutely.
Quick shot of endorphins.
He's just like, I'm kind of in a brain fog right now. You want to know what I need? Post-nut clarity.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll help me write this sonnet.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, and just two more ones that I am recognizing off the top of my head. The next one is where they're in the bar. That's gluttony. And something that I didn't notice that I kind of talked about in the video was that there's constantly huge piles of food on their table, but you never see them eating it, even though they're very hungry. So, and it happens a couple different times, and I was like, that's fascinating. And then the next one, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that is something I noticed on this viewing, is that Greg keeps bringing food over to the table in these huge amounts, but nobody eats anything, and it just disappears.
Yes. 100%. I did not notice that until it played it again. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And the next one is the rich people, and it's avarice. So it's the greed ring. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it's these two wealthy people that are so wealthy that have such big houses that they don't even notice that the houses are connected. So just very,
that's a good one.
I do appreciate all of that. Like it's subtle and it's there if you need it, but it's also just interesting in and of itself.
Yeah. No, there's also a lot of Easter eggs, which is why I'm kind of disappointed I didn't go back and do a second viewing, because one of the gravestones in like the second to last episode has the names of the rich couple.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
yeah. If you
I never caught that.
Yeah, it's when they go to the cemetery and like Wart's like peeking over it. The one, I think either him or Greg's peeking over it. I don't know which one, but like it has the names of them, of that couple.
Oh wow!
So it's one of those Easter eggs. Just like, is that like a couple that's already dead? Going back to like, were they in hell? So that kind of goes back into the Dante's Inferno perception.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, also that's making me rethink, because the ending with the woodsman where he finally goes to his home and not where he cranks the thing, and his daughter's there. I was like, oh, she's been alive the whole time, and the beast was just manipulating him. Maybe he died after
that was
like,
my interpretation.
Fully died.
Same.
That was my interpretation, actually.
Oh, okay.
Obviously the allegory for the lamp and keeping it alive, I think it was one of those things, like the interpretation that like implies at the end is that like she was dying, and then after the like wakes up. I interpreted that as like he was trying to kind of like hold on to life,
and
then finally just let go. Going back to why I interpreted it as purgatory as opposed to the 7 levels of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like being in that in between place, and the only way you're getting out is if you let go or if you have your unfinished business realized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I see that. It's like Ozzy Osbourne. You know, the second he couldn't tour anymore, couldn't perform live anymore, he kicked it.
Is that how that
At,
goes?
as Satan
Yeah.
intended.
Yep. No, my tangent of the episode, I genuinely think performing music and making music is what kept Ozzy alive as long as he was, with all of the drugs and alcohol and everything that he did. Because they did that farewell concert. And I think I may have even said this in a pre-show or on the show where I was like, I wonder how long it's going to be now that he's officially retired. And it was like a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think music was keeping him alive.
Yeah, I
As
could see
opposed
that.
to Keith Richards, who literally is alive because of the drugs.
The only thing keeping him going.
I have to Google every now and again. It's like, is Keith Richards still alive?
Yeah.
And he is? How old is he?
Hey, I don't know, but I was shocked to find out a couple weeks ago Charlie Sheen is still alive.
Yeah, he's in a new documentary, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have sworn that he had died in like 2013, 2014.
No,
right after all that Tiger Blood shit.
Yeah, no, that's like when he went off the deep end. Well, like he was already off the deep end, but like that's when he got fired from 2.5 Men. But like, yeah, he's been kicking around for a while. He dated Brie Olson. If anybody remembers Brie Olson.
Oh wow, she was in the Scooby Doo parody.
Yeah, among other
she played
parodies.
Yeah, she was Batgirl too. No, that was Lexi something.
Yeah. Showing me and Seth showing our age right now on the internet.
Our age, and we used to watch a lot of porn.
We're the guys on the hub sites whenever people put in the comment section, what's her name? Like, who had the response instantly.
Yeah, immediately.
But Keith Richards is 81 years old.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
So any day now.
Yeah.
He's gonna say it's just like, I finally quit cocaine.
And then he's done.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
His last words were, "I don't want to bump."
I do think there is literally just like a group of people and artists who are just like, for whatever reason, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, all the stuff that everyone tells you are supposed to kill you, just like keep them alive. I don't know how it works, but it just keeps happening.
Yeah. It's the Mr. Burns, where like all of the horrible diseases that he's contracted are like pushing their way through a door and get stuck, so he can't die. They're not killing him.
Funny.
But he's not healthy either.
Oh my goodness. I wish I had more to say about this. I know, I'm just like, I feel like I can't wait to watch it again, to be honest with you. Like, I think I could see this as like a regular view. Like, I think it's just gonna get better. I wish I had more time. Like, I would watch it a second time because I feel like I'm understanding now that I've seen the full thing why people love it so much. And I think it's just gonna get better on repeat viewings because I think I'm gonna notice more things, and watching other people's kind of analysis of it is super fucking interesting because it does pull from a lot of cultural things, and also is just its own beast in and of itself. Like, they did so many they did so much with like such a, again, small episodes and 10 episodes. It's wild to me. So this is deeply impressive. I'm glad I finally got to see it because it's been on my list for forever. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing repeat viewings of this, and I see why it's become such a popular for repeat viewership. Because it hits that sweet spot where, like, yeah, it is a little bit more of a darker show, but the vibe that it has for the time of year where it's appropriate to watch it, plus it still, like, has, like, that whimsy to it where it's just like, yeah, if you have kids, absolutely, like, it's an easy show to put on and watch for them because, like, even though, yeah, there is heavy subject matter, it's not so in your face that, like, you have to, like, all right, kids, let's talk about death.
Yeah. For me, it's funny because this it's one of those things where I actually enjoy throwing it on just for background noise, because it's fun just to check in and be like, oh, it's this episode, okay, and I got 10 minutes left on my laundry, let me sit and watch this one, and then back to whatever I'm doing. It's comfort viewing for me. I don't know what's fucked up with my brain that I don't think it's dark. I think it's very cute and fun and whimsical. I think
there are cute elements of it.
Yeah, but it does strike that balance of like scary and fun. And because there are things in this that I think would scare a child. Like the gal who's possessed by the thing, with that reveal when they're in the dark room and she becomes the ghost.
Yeah.
That could scare a kid.
Yeah.
100%.
Kids need to be scared a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Official stance of the show.
As somebody whose mom let him watch X-Files with her when he was like 4 years old. Yeah, kids need to be scared every once in a while.
Yeah.
I do want to ask really quick, because I didn't realize, again, this is something I just watched, but I was interested how you guys feel about the appearance of the Beast, because apparently that was one of the things that was went through several rounds of redesign on what the final Beast would look like. And
when it's fully revealed in that
fully revealed, and also when you get to like kind of see him more, because you just kind of see him in the background for so much of it, and it's everyone thinks it's the woodcutter, but when you actually kind of see like his form with the antlers and everything, and also the brief flash of him with the light, like super horrifying. But I'm just interested if you because very small bits of criticism there, not from me, but like internet being the internet, because it did have so many reworkings. I was just interested if you guys found that part scary or if you like that design.
I like the shadowy eyes with the antlers design. Like, I don't love the like tree with all the faces carved into it that you get that flash past, but it's such a quick moment that you don't have to linger on it. And I prefer the in shadows. We never fully know what it looks like, but I don't have an issue with either one, really.
Yeah. Honestly, I had to just Google it just to remind myself, because like it like wasn't fresh in my head for like what that looked like. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in the desensitized like era of my life, which has been going on for the last 20 years.
Yeah,
but
it's all those beheadings on live lakes.
But no, like it's very obvious there was a lot of stuff that got changed and revised, like between like it getting, canceled and supposing to be a couple of other seasons. Obviously, I don't think that's the ending that the creators wanted to have. Obviously, and then with all that stuff being said, it's just like I'm sure there were a lot of revisions to what the original design was supposed to be, but revisions happen. So, like that's the thing. Like sometimes it's important, just so all artists know, to receive constructive criticism and maybe don't be super married to the first idea you have.
Yes.
Because going back to that thing that we talked about with like, where you were talking about, what was it, the paper store or whatever, the Office spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I think a problem that we have a lot these days is that a lot of writers and people who are like screenwriters and directors and other things, like they get so dead set on doing their vision and their version, they don't let other voices come in and tell them like, hey, tweak this. And like granted that like there is bad criticism out there and people who like will tell you horrible things and absolutely ignore, but it's important to kind of hear what people out, because like I've been in that stage where like I've submitted video work and everything else, and then people come back with feedback and stuff, and like they tell me to do certain things, and sometimes I'm annoyed by it. But sometimes the thing that they point out and they make me change is just like, oh, you were right. This works way better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think there's a balance to have.
And to piggyback off of that, it's you should always be striving to grow and learn, and that's why other voices are important. But also know when to fight for something. Yeah. If you are 100% certain on something, fight for it. However, always be open to other ideas and other mindsets coming in.
My rule of thumb is the reason that I don't want to do it because I'm lazy and I don't want to, or is the reason I don't want to do it is because it's completely compromising what I was trying to do and what I was trying to go for. Those are two different things. Like, if the thing that, like, specifically I'm being asked to change is because, like, you kind of phoned it in and, like, here's something that would probably work better, or I think something that would add to it, great. If it's something where it's just like, this thing's garbage, we think it's horrible, get rid of it, I was just like, no, like, I put work into it for a reason. So that's a good rule of thumb, I think, for creators when it comes to taking constructive criticism, because I know I'm bad at it, but it's
hard.
It is. I'm laughing not because I agree you're bad at it. I'm laughing because I am also bad at it.
Yeah. No,
and I'm like, I know, I deal with it.
Yeah. Trust me, like, it's one of those things where it's just like, the worst thing I could ever do is literally just hit send for feedback, because I'm just like, all right, and now I'm going to wait to receive the email for somebody to piss me off today.
I'm rage baiting myself right now.
Basically what that comes down to.
That's why when I like ask for feedback, I'm like, I'm always open to positive feedback. So if you have anything for me, please let me know. So just cut it off right at the pass.
And if you hated it, shut the fuck up and leave.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I don't need to hear all that. I don't need that negativity. But yeah, some of the early sketches of the Beast were I'm so glad they didn't go with it. But again, this had a lot of rewrites for a variety of reasons, because they didn't know how much time they had and things like that. He was the like original sketch I saw was like him being a very small, like imp-like creature, and I was like, ooh, that would not have had the bite that this one does, especially. And I super agree with you, because I actually went back a couple of seconds because I wanted to see that still of when the light flashes over him, and I was like, oh, it's actually better when you just see it in a brief moment. When you are on that still and you see all the faces, it's not quite that scary. Like, I think it's much more intimidating for him to be just this big shadowy figure with these huge antlers, and he kind of shrinks and gets bigger all of the time. And somebody else pointed out that in the video I was just watching, that what's cool about that is that it's like he is a part of the forest, that he is like literally growing up from it. And I love the design. I get why. I had a friend recently get it tattooed on them, and it looks sick as hell. And I was like,
Nice.
What is that from? And I was like, you know what? I'm glad this is what they went with, because super intimidating. So the voice acting on that too, like, I'm just like, God, that's scary. I feel like it's shit like that where I'm like, I can't imagine showing this to a kid. I think it would be so horrifying. But teach their own.
I think there's definitely an age limit where, like, yes, you can show it to kids if they're like 7, 8 years old and they have an affinity for scary things. I wouldn't show this to a 3-year-old. I wouldn't show this.
No,
I absolutely would. Again, you got to freak them out when they're young.
You're gonna deal with it for sure, but I mean, that kid's pissing the bed. It's your fault.
Here's the solution: don't have kids.
Hey, even
the best solution.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to a brand new episode of Childless Millennials.
We're gonna tell you how to parent.
Don't.
The episode where Seth and Aaron give vasectomies on camera.
Oh.
Hey, of the three of us, I have a goddaughter. That gives me the most right to talk about parenting.
I have 3 bouncy baby boys. How dare you?
True. I was gonna say she's 20 now and doesn't speak to me anymore, but I think I did a good job.
I have a perfect boy and a piece of shit redheaded stepchild.
Perfect. It's American dream right there. I think
that is. No, you got to get that 0.5 in there somewhere. You got to get a bird or a lizard or some shit.
Absolutely.
Please don't give Emily ideas. Please don't.
I'm just gonna be sending her TikToks of birds.
Please don't do that.
The crows around here are starting to recognize me as friend, and I'm so excited.
Oh my God, that's my dream. That's my American dream.
Are they asking you to join the murder?
Not yet. But they will like fly closer to me and land on branches that are closer to me than they were originally on, and I'm taking that as a win.
Yeah. That's amazing. That is all I want in life.
It's good to have the crows on your side and not against you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there to anybody. Anyways, that brings us to just about time. We have a little bit of a hard out because Brie has other responsibilities or some shit or sleep. I don't know.
So tired.
But anyways, I think it's my turn to assign homework.
I hope so because I don't have anything. So I hope it's not me.
Okay, cool. So I had to come up with this at the last minute. I was just thinking about it on the drive, and so what I'm gonna have us do something that's actually relatively topical, but it's probably not gonna be topical by the time the show comes out. I wanted to play Silk Song.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. I'll try to get past the menu screen. Let's go.
I'll drag myself away from Silent Hill F.
It's all good. I mostly just want to also have a conversation about the state of video gaming, which again might not be a relevant topic, but like the big Microsoft news, which we talked about at the beginning of the show, is like pretty significant deal when it comes to the affordability of video gaming.
I love it. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Well, anyways, that is our show for this week. I am TCK Media Productions on most platforms. You have that Seth23 down there, who you can find on TikTok, probably getting ice to get ready to raid his house at any moment.
God.
And flashbang.
I took, yeah, it's that FBI open up meme. No, I actually tried to get a brand deal a minute ago, and they turned me down because my content is too political now.
Now?
Yeah, now after 2 years. There was a healthy balance.
I am literally this close to start just shit posting political takes on my TikTok, like just this close, but I'm just like
get ready for a bunch of comments once that thing breaks confinement and gets into right-wing talk, and then everyone's telling you you're wrong and you're stupid and Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to die. He wasn't a racist. How dare you?
Conversation.
He was a good... Yeah. He was Jesus. How fucking dare you?
I'm just going to make the argument that he got exactly what he wanted.
He did.
He didn't believe in empathy. I gotta remind that.
Anyways, we also have Raccoon Loon herself, Brie, who you can always find on her other podcast, Game Birds, where she talks about indie games. And that's our show, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.